Imagine you are tasked with designing an industrial liquid cooling chiller to handle a raw heat load of 50 kilowatts. You have a chassis, a massive thermal problem, and absolutely nothing else. There are no pre-existing schematics to copy. You have no supplier catalogs on your desk, and there are no manufacturer recommendations to fall back on. Many designers approach this by trying to pick a 50-kilowatt compressor from a catalog, or guessing at the size of the pump. This haphazard method will fail. Selecting mechanical hardware before you have mathematically defined how thermal energy moves through the system guarantees a mismatched, unreliable design. Professional thermal engineers do not start by looking at parts. They start with the physics of heat transfer. An industrial chiller is a mathematically coupled sequence. The exact specifications of every single component are strictly dictated by the component located immediately upstream from it. We are starting with this blank blueprint. Over the next few minutes, we will derive the complete hydronic and refrigerant circuits from scratch, relying entirely on physical laws. Mastering this process of sequential deduction separates parts pickers from true systems architects. Our first mechanical objective is straightforward. We must move 50,000 joules of thermal energy away from the equipment every single second. To carry that heat, we select a coolant mix of 50. This diagram introduces the governing thermodynamic equation we need to calculate our fluid flow. Q equals mass flow times the specific heat capacity times the change in temperature. We can populate our known variables immediately. Q is our 50 kilowatt load, and the specific heat capacity of our glycol mix is 3.7 kilojoules per kilogram Kelvin. Next, we establish our target temperature difference. We lock delta T at exactly 5 degrees Celsius. This specific value is an industry standard because it tightly balances the physical size of the heat exchanger against the power requirements of the pump. Executing this calculation yields our required mass flow rate. When we convert that to volumetric flow, we get a hard requirement of approximately 180 liters per minute. That 180 liters per minute is not a design choice. It is an unavoidable physical consequence of our initial heat load interacting with the properties of our fluid. Pushing 180 liters of heavy glycol through a closed loop every minute generates severe friction. The fluid forces its way through the internal cooling plates. These narrow passages ensure equal flow distribution, but they create a significant pressure bottleneck. We then add the secondary sources of friction to our calculation. This includes the manifolds, flexible hoses, system valves, and inline strainers. Finally, we factor in the expected resistance from the brazed plate heat exchanger, which the fluid will encounter next. This diagram sums those individual friction points. Adding them together establishes a total system resistance of approximately 1.5 bar, which equals 15 meters of pump head. We identify our required pump by finding the exact mathematical intersection of our derived flow rate, 180 liters per minute, and our total resistance of 15 meters. The physical dimensions of the pump were dictated entirely by the piping geometry's resistance to the initial, heat-driven flow. The brazed plate heat exchanger acts as the critical boundary in our system. This is where thermal energy jumps out of the liquid coolant loop and into the volatile refrigerant loop. We size this heat exchanger and the subsequent compressors for 55 to 60 kilowatts. This safety margin absorbs efficiency drops during high ambient temperatures. To handle that capacity, we select dual inverter-driven scroll compressors. Using two independent compressors ensures high efficiency under partial loads and provides mechanical redundancy. At the condenser, designers often overlook the hidden energy in the system. It is easy to assume the unit only needs to reject the initial 50 kilowatts of equipment heat. This energy flow diagram illustrates the actual load, heat cascades. The condenser must process the initial 50 kilowatt load plus the mechanical energy introduced by the compressor squeezing the refrigerant. Merging those two streams reveals a true total heat rejection requirement of roughly 60 kilowatts. This strict 60 kilowatt requirement dictates the selection of a microchannel condenser and sets the precise airflow volumes required from the external exhaust fans. Failing to account for the physical work of compression mathematically guarantees that your fans will be undersized, leading directly to catastrophic system overheating. Our core heat transfer loops are complete, but in their current state, the system lacks dynamic stability. We integrate an electronic expansion valve to rapidly regulate the refrigerant superheat as ambient conditions shift. Watch the schematic populate with our final stabilization components. We add a large fluid reservoir for thermal buffering and an expansion tank to safely absorb the physical swelling of the glycol under pressure. We also install an inline electric heater to keep the fluid viscosity low during cold weather startups. These auxiliary components do not move heat. Their sole function is to protect the mathematical integrity of the primary cooling loop from real-world environmental extremes. Up to this point, we have evaluated a static blueprint. Now let's put the thermal machine in motion. Imagine a sudden systemic shock. The industrial equipment finishes a processing cycle, and its generated heat load abruptly drops from 50 kilowatts down to 30 kilowatts. The system's central controller registers the temperature drop instantly. It commands the pump's variable frequency drive to cut RPM, rapidly scaling down fluid velocity as the mechanical effort across the entire machine decelerates. This triggers a cascading mechanical reaction. The compressor slows down to match the reduced thermal flow, the expansion valve constricts its orifice, and the condenser fans drop their speed. A modern chiller functions as an integrated sensory network, with every component continuously hunting from mathematical equilibrium. Look at the completed blueprint. We have built an unbroken chain of logic. Heat dictates flow, flow dictates pressure, pressure dictates refrigeration, and refrigeration dictates exhaust. The specific 50 kilowatt baseline we used is a proof of concept for a logic chain that remains consistent at any scale. This exact methodology scales directly to the most critical infrastructure in the world. It is how engineers size cooling arrays for megawatt battery energy storage systems, electric vehicle charging stations, and hyperscale data centers. True engineering is never found by paging through a component catalog. It is the strict discipline of translating raw physical laws into reliable mechanical reality.